Hi everyone, this is Noe Browns. I'm here with Simone Dorosky and we are at the Deseo de Michael Winery. It's a private winery in Orient, New York, at the very end of the North Fork, and it's quite a magical place. We are here to know Michael Smith, the owner and creator of this beautiful winery.
Hello.
So hi Michael, thank you so much for having us. I mean, it's spectacular domain.
Thank you. Very nicely.
Tell us about the wines that are in front of us right now.
In 2006, we planted the plants. It took about 4 years, 3 to 4 years to mature. Our first harvest was in 2010, and that produced a oak Chardonnay. Not this particular one because this is a 15. Everything's gone from that point on. But the oak Chardonnay we started off with, we did about 140 cases or so.
Wow.
We only put about a ton, depending on the year, ton, maybe a little less, a little more. That won't put out 140 cases, but of course I'll supplement it with maybe some fruit from some friends locally.
Nice.
And then from that point on, we did that for a couple of years. We decided that we had enough in stock for the oak. So then we went to the stainless Chardonnay, which again we produced from here. And then it started to take hold, and in 2014, the stainless was presented up in New York State. It won silver medal, and we started to push it a little more. I wound up getting a salesperson. Then we went from the Chardonnay, both Chardonnays, to a Rosé, and the Rosé for 16 that also won a silver medal. And the
That's
same
amazing.
thing. Yeah, it did very well. Everybody seemed to like it. And then from that point on, just 2 years ago, we did the Cap Franc. So that's, it's before we push out. We maybe 400 or 500 cases a year, and that's it. That's all we do.
Congratulations, that's quite a journey.
Thank you.
You're actually a retired former firefighter?
So I was a New York City firefighter. And then during the course of later on in my career, I got promoted. I became a New York City arson investigator for the fire department.
Wow.
So back in 2001, 9/11, I was at the base of the building with a couple of my friends, meaning work co-workers, and the building came down, and it just happened to run the right way. That's all. That's what it came down to. I was a couple hundred feet away. First building came down. I ran just the right way, knocked down, unconscious. Thought I was pretty much
crazy.
thought I was done for. That was it. Saying my prayers, and somehow, spiritually, magically, by luck, by draw, I don't know, I came out of it. So I was down there for a couple days, 2 or 3 days before I came home. Then I went back, for weeks on end thereafter. And if you can imagine, or I'm sure you can, and mostly anybody can, something that traumatic that happens, to see your friends, to see a lot of different people suffer, when basically my entire career was geared to help people. And I couldn't basically do anything about it, right? So it worked on my emotion for a long time. And my wife and I kept coming out here, driving out here, just for no reason, just to get away, go to a restaurant, just enjoy the water. And I realized that every time I come out here, it settled me, it grounded me, and that's what I was looking for, something to ground me. And I still wasn't there. I still had this hole that I was looking to satisfy. And we saw this place, which didn't have a tree, a bush, a vine, nothing on it. It was just dilapidated. The house hasn't been in, no one had been in the house for 16 years. So we fixed the house up, we bought the property, and we had this big lawn. And we said to ourselves, boy, we need to do something with this thing. And I was thinking, and I said, boy, I just love the formality. I just love the way you walk into a vineyard and it just settles me. Just really, I can get lost in here, as small as it is.
It's so true.
I can
so
get lost
true.
in here. It's a beautiful,
Yeah.
just sitting here all day. It's like watching a fish tank, just watch it forever. And I asked around, I talked to people, I went from place to place. I got a hold of some excellent people that helped me along the way. I wound up getting a vineyard manager, believe it or not. He did part-time, of course, and he helped me with the grapes. He helped me with anything we needed during the course of the year. I had a couple guys that were on, laborers that were helping him, that wound up helping me, and we became now lifelong friends. Although we're a boutique vineyard, I didn't want to make it anything big or commercial, because I don't want it to get away from me. I just wanted to make it something that I could be very proud of, something that is more quality than quantity. And here we are with all these years later, since 2010, our first vintage. Here we are with, 6, and off we go.
That's amazing.
That's where we are.
That's quite a journey. Now, when you're sitting here with us, with Simone and I today, and looking at, how do you call the robes of?
Not for any particular reason, because they all are Chardonnay.
Okay.
So the number to one of the fellas and say I need service on a particular number, and we go to that. Yeah. I knew nothing about wine. I'm the guy who hardly even drank, and be honest with you, listen, there's so many people, especially in the North Fork, that have so much more experience and know-how than I do. But I'm like a sponge. Whenever I'm speaking to somebody, I just pick up on it. And when you're passionate about something, whether it's the wine or anything else, you just dive right in. So it works out really well.
And it shows in your countenance, your newfound passion.
Yeah.
Like, this has such a unique and special energy about it.
Thank you.
You can really tell that your heart went into this. Well, tell us about how this season was for you.
We've had a really good season thus far. It's been hot. It's been somewhat humid, but not so bad for here because we're so close to the water. So when we chose to plant these grapes, we had a lot of input from a lot of specialty people who, they call it a rootstock, and that's what the plant comes from, California. And it just so happens to grow very well and tolerate where we are so close to the water in Orient. We try to pick typically sometime like the second or third week of October. Have to be real careful with the rain, because if it saturates the plants, then it becomes a hassle. But,
Yes.
we have to fool with it, but we usually have some sort of event, which is all my friends. They just decide, hey, we're going to come in and give you a hand, and it's just a friend thing. And a lot of people like to do it because they never clipped clusters off the plants.
I know, I'd love to do that too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Where can people buy your bottles?
So mostly in Manhattan, Queens. We have some in Brooklyn. A couple places in Nassau County, and particularly out here at the North Fork, we sell at the Shack, the North Fork Shack,
Okay.
right on North Road, and
The North Fork Shack.
he carries that pretty well, Sammy, and he's a great chef, and he does excellent pairings with my wine. Yeah.
I know I've tasted, thanks to Simone, the Rosé,
Yes.
and it's absolutely
like it?
delicious. I loved it.
Good.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes, I had it with with lobster mac and cheese.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
It was perfect.
Very nice.
In Spanish means dreams or wishes. Michael's wishes.
Yes. So we were sitting in a restaurant one night in Huntington, believe it or not, with a couple of friends of mine, and we were kicking around names because I knew I was going to do it. And we were kicking around names, and we couldn't come up with anything. Nothing. It just so happens we asked this Spanish waitress, and we says, "What do you think? I'm going to make a Count Franc and a label, and what do you think a good name for it would be?" And she looked at my wife, and because my wife is Spanish, right?
Ah,
So my wife
Teresa.
is and I'll get to her, but it's Teresa, correct? And she says, Teresa, Michael, cue in the music, Deseo to Michael. That's what the waitress said, and we kind of kicked it around and said, wow, that kind of sounds good. And we moved forward with Deseo to Michael because it was like you're suggesting, it was Michael's desire, Michael's wishes.
Yes.
That's how it's interpreted, and it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
It is
it's
perfect.
Yeah.
It goes very well too with the aesthetics of your domain here.
Yeah.
Deseo de Michael. I mean, it does roll off
It
your
does.
tongue.
It does.
And it's definitely a romantic name.
It's beautiful, right?
It's beautiful.
And that's the name of the vineyard, and the ore is the label. So it's just one of the labels of the sale.
Michael, you created an amazing, spectacular estate here. So tell us what happens when you have private tastings here.
Well, private tasting consists of friends and family only.
Of course.
And when we finish out front with some wine, we'll just bring another bottle of wine right down onto the beach. Sit on the big log down there, or grab some beach chairs. Sit under the umbrella for a little while.
perfect day.
Perfect day. Gorgeous out today. Oh my God.
Beautiful. As a philanthropist, just tell us about the most recent.
So I had
do?
my daughter. My daughter's daughter had an affair at school and needed to raise some money for the school. So I donated just a little bit of a tasting here for them, and it worked out really well. By the time I left, they just said it was the best thing that ever went to.
That's
And
so.
we did pairings with the local chef, like I mentioned earlier, with Sammy and North Shore Shack. It was wonderful, and he donated his food to us. And you know, it's not.
There's such good people here on the North Fork. I just love it here.
It's great. You know, that's the way it should be. You know?
Yes, that is. Thank you so much for being such
welcome.
an exemplary resident of the North Fork.
I don't know about that.
But
Depends who you talk to.
well, most of all, thank you for your hospitality
Thank you for having me.
today, and thank you for the gifts.
Oh yeah, you'll enjoy that.
Yes, we
You have
will.
to chill yours, maybe not so much yours.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.